we're live.
All right. Hello again, adventurers, and welcome to another exciting episode of The Legend of the Three Kingdoms. This time, while I'm recording, I forgot to hit the record button.
We were on there for a hot second before we did the
Yeah, I switched and I went, shit, I forgot to record. I'm a good streamer that always knows what's they're doing. Yay. Yes, this is my homebrew D&D campaign. Set my weird, messed up homebrew D&D campaign setting. The people below me are starting to question my sanity. Or probably aren't starting, have questioned it for quite a while.
We never questioned.
Announcements. There's been some really cool stuff that's been happening in the TTRPG world recently. We officially got a release date for Daggerheart. That is Darrington Press's new TTRPG. Darrington Press is the publishing arm of Critical Role. I got to play around a little bit with the playtest materials. I'm massively excited about this game. Also, apparently, loose lips sink ships. Matt Mercer said something he wasn't supposed to on his fireside chat, and it has been revealed that after the current EXU whatever thing that Brindley Mulligan is running on Critical Role's channel, now that Campaign 3 is over, spoilers, Campaign 3 ended, after that, there's going to be a Daggerheart series called Age of Umbra, which is based on one of their like mini campaign setting things that they have a name for that I can never remember.
I mean, it's spoilerish. I mean, we always knew it was going to.
Well, we knew it was going to happen, but the fact that it was actually named, Darrington Press made tweets and stuff going, Matt, you weren't supposed to say that. Well, now that it's out of the bag, this is what's happening. So yeah, according to Matt Mercer, Age of Umbra is his kind of Dark Souls-esque, grim dark fantasy, hyper lethal little mini campaign setting. Again, they have a term for it, and I can't remember. But as far as I can tell, I didn't watch the fireside chat, but I've seen clips. As far as I can tell, it looks like in the core book, they're going to have these little like mini campaign settings to give you ideas for how to run your stuff. Very similar if you've really for most of the like generic tabletop RPGs, they'll generally have a section in the this is for the GM section. We'll go, if you want to play in this kind of setting, you do this. In the Cypher System core rulebook, they have an entire section where it's just like, these are things that you could use for a fantasy setting. These are things that you can use for a sci-fi setting. So I'm assuming it's going to be something similar to that, which excites me. I like the idea that they're apparently going, because the playtest material had a default campaign setting. Like we all read it, things like that. It was alluded to in the races and backgrounds and stuff like that, or whatever they're called in that. I can't remember. But it sounds like they're going to have a slightly more generic approach to it, and I like generic RPGs. I like being able to use it for whatever setting that I want. So that's super cool, and I'm really looking forward to this Age of Umbra miniseries that they're going to do. They also announced they're going to be doing an Avowed one-shot with some members of Critical Role, and then also ProZD, who's a YouTuber and voice actor that if you've...
Songwon Cho.
Songwon Cho, that's his name. He's a super cool guy. Probably one of my favorite things he's done. There's a short on YouTube I think is also everywhere else. But it's basically making fun of Magic the Gathering and CCGs in general, where it's also like, okay, I'm going to put my cow token down, but then I'm going to tap it so that I can put out a milk factory. That gives me 3 trees tokens, or 3 milk tokens. Then I'm going to put out bacteria. Bacteria allows me to turn the milk tokens into cheese tokens. And now, by double tapping, and it turns into this like hour-long explanation of his single turn, and it's hilarious, because it's 100% how Magic works.
So I know the channel, like Prod Z, PRODZ.
He's
see him on YouTube.
Yeah, he's a super cool guy. He's also a pretty well-established voice actor as well.
Oh yeah, he's very well established. The chances are he's one of those people like you've probably heard him.
Yeah, he has, like me, he just has a really big, deep voice. So you've probably heard him playing bigger characters. In addition to that, they're also going to have Whitney Moore, which if you're familiar with Geek and Sundry in general, she was heavily involved with Geek and Sundry. I think she was also involved with SourceFed for a little while. I don't think she's ever one of the hosts, but she did like guest and do a lot of
She's,
stuff with the
yeah.
Source Fund
Or
people.
if you're a fan of the movie classic Birdemic.
Yes, she was also. She's a very established actress with more than one role to her name, including the amazing Birdemic.
She has done other stuff. She's done some. She's actually done some very cool
Yeah,
independent stuff.
she does. I can't remember what she does now, but yeah, she did hosting for a while. Like she's pretty cool, and I'm a fan of hers. So yeah, some Critical Role people plus Whitney Moore and some the name that
Song One Show.
thank you, because I can't remember proper nouns. So that's super super cool, and
I think he also, I believe, also voices in Delicious in Dungeon, if I remember correctly.
he might. He's done a lot of different things. In addition, I got my pre-order in for the Final Fantasy XIV TTRPG. According to the Square Enix website, it launches on the 28th of February. Now, that also happens to be the last day of February. So it could be a placeholder thing that they just said, well, we're going to put it in February. And so it's possible it'll get pushed off later. But the starter set for the Final Fantasy XIV TTRPG came out last year. And I've looked at the kind of free beginner rules. And it's an interesting system. I'm excited to see how it plays. And I like collecting RPGs. So that's really cool. And I'm excited about that. Then also Essence 20, I believe, is releasing at least one. It might be 2 books this month. The Techno-Organic Secrets is, I think, what it's called. It's the Beast Wars Transformers book. I may or may not have recorded an in-depth review of it last night and haven't uploaded it to my channel yet. But if you're a fan of the old Beast Wars TV show or the very bizarre sequel to it, Beast Machines, it's a cool book. And then also the Shattered Grid themed Power Rangers RPG expansion, which I think is called Through the Shattered Grid, and I do have a review of that on my channel, should be coming out as well either this month or next month. So 2 new Essence 20 books, both of which are phenomenal books that have lots of cool stuff in them. Yeah, so lots of cool stuff happening in the TTRPG world. Right now, there's also a Kickstarter for a Legacy of Kain TTRPG. If you're familiar with that nonsense series from PlayStation's past. Yeah. Cool stuff good going on right now. With that, anything else happening in the TTRPG world that you guys are aware of?
I mean, on the topic of Critical Role and Matt Boosters, apparently back and IMO have been DMing to try and figure something out if schedule permits.
Yeah, I saw. I think you shared it in our Discord, but yeah, if you don't know, Iron Mouse, is she V Shoujo, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So Iron Mouse is a VTuber. She was the #1 subscribed streamer on Twitch for a brief moment in time.
Yeah.
She won Streamer of the Year, I think, this past year at the Streamer Awards. She's also just a wonderfully amazing human being in general.
Yeah.
And from my own experiences, she's part of the disabled community. She has some medical issues, which is why she uses a VTuber instead of doing regular streaming, and it's really helped her immensely with all the stuff that she goes through. So she is by far one of my favorite people in existence. I think she's a super cool person. I badly want to see her interact with Matt Mercer. I don't know how. I don't care how. I don't care if she just does an interview with him or something. But I badly want to see Matt Mercer interact with Iron Mouse or any of the a lot of the V Shoujo people are really interesting, cool people.
Yeah.
So I'd love to see. Somebody. It might have been you that shared it in our Discord as well.
Yeah, I did.
But somebody shared a VShojo thing where they made them like a morphing, like a Power Rangers
Yeah.
intro that I love. I badly wanted to like just email Iron Mouse and go, hey, I know I'm like a super tiny, but if you guys want to be Power Rangers, like I will 100% run you through a Power Rangers campaign. I've done it before. If I have to get testimonies, I will. But you want to be a Power Ranger, I'll make you a Power Ranger. So, yeah, like that would be massively cool. We have no, again, it may turn into nothing. I think a lot of people don't quite understand how often really big creators like that can have a really large desire to work with someone and it just never works.
Yeah.
Like it's LA, to be blunt. That's just how LA works. So
But I feel about whether that something if there wasn't a war.
well, I mean,
It was a,
Iron Mouse is like this shy of controlling the world. So I mean, eventually, if Iron Mouse decides that she wants something, she's gonna get it. Like that's just how it works. We've all just kind of accepted our Overlord Mouse. No, genuinely, I'd be really really excited to see a VShojo, especially with I mentioned this in one of my videos recently. Matt Mercer has is probably one of the most effective marketers for using tabletop RPGs as marketing tools that currently exists. Like, if you look at the number of one-shots, like they just did an Assassin's Creed Shadows one-shot. They're doing an Avowed one-shot for a game that's coming out this month. They did an Elden Ring one-shot. Like, companies approach Matt Mercer and say, hey, do a one-shot for our game. And not only does he run an entertaining one-shot, I believe most of them, he modifies a system to highlight aspects of the video game. That is not an easy thing to do. And not only does he do it, he does it well. Like, watch the Elden Ring one-shot. He invented a stamina system for a tabletop RPG, and it worked. That's the weirdest thing about it. I know a lot of people have created stamina systems for TTRPGs. They don't work. They're annoying. If the game system isn't built around them, it doesn't work. And yet Matt Mercer did it, and it was massively entertaining. It might also have something to do with the fact that he gets really good people to star in it. But yeah, so like if Matt Mercer is the person that I would trust probably more than anyone else in the world to create an entertaining VShojo TTRPG one shot. Yeah. Like Brendan Lee Mulligan's a great guy. He makes some really amazing stuff. But there's a reason that Dimension 20 is not doing ads for major video games and stuff like that. He's fantastic at what he does, but coming up with weird shit on the fly is a Matt Mercer thing that he has mastered. So, yeah, that's cool.
Also, shout outs if you're interested in Humblewood. Shout out to Pixel Circus. They've done a little one shot for Humblewood.
Cool stuff there.
So you want to see some people play some cute animals?
Pixel Circus is that the one that Day plays with, or
no? Don't think so.
So I know Dan Hutton, acquaintance of mine, played in one of my games for a little while. Plays RPGs with somebody. Used to be she played RPGs with me, but then she couldn't do it anymore. Who's Pixel Circus then? Who?
Sage Ryan.
Sage. That's where I know Pixel Circus from. I like Sage Ryan. She's funny. Yeah.
Yeah, they're
Lots
great.
of cool stuff going on. And the new Humblewood book is on D&D Beyond right now, so I'm assuming that's why they're doing it. So
yeah.
Humblewood's a cool system, a cool setting too. So if you wanted to run a Redwall TTRPG, Humblewood. Also, did you guys know that Brian Jacques, like when I think of Brian Jacques, who's the guy that wrote all the Redwood books, I think of like this amazing British voice of now Matt Mayo came around. It's not what like he was like. Oh right, so this is Matt Mayo. Like I listened to him. He's unfortunately passed, but he used to read his books, and he has this like deep. I don't think it's Cockney, but he has a deep kind of like lower accent that I wasn't quite expecting from him. And he was a phenomenal author. Loved everything that he wrote. All right. Anything else going on?
I was going to make a joke in your chat channel with points, but you still have the old system.
Oh, yeah, I
Lancer.
gotta fix that. Forgot that we're not playing the Lancer anymore. If anybody wants to give these guys a, what is it, repair token is one of the things? Sure. Give them a repair token. They can use it to, I don't know, fix their broken psyches after all this. So, I think now it is time for us to return to the legend of the Three Kingdoms. Vincent has been saved. The party, after realizing that the sibling rulers of Klausgate may not be doing this under their own will, went and using a combination of plane altering teleportation and a dream spell, were able to go into the dream world where Vincent was being abused and tortured. And sorry, they're doing things in chat and it's mean.
I don't know what you're talking about, Jenny.
And were able to defeat the demon that had taken hold of Vincent. After coming back from that, they realized that dealing with Elizabeth would not be quite as simple. For while Vincent was held under the sway of a demon, Elizabeth is held under sway of an extremely powerful spell. One that was designed by members of the Blood Council, 3 of which they were able to release from their captivity as things. Now the party must decide what to do about Elizabeth. For while Vincent has been able to disarm her from the wand that gave her so much power, who knows what other tricks she may have up her sleeves. So, yeah, the last time we played, if I remember correctly, you guys had just gotten out of Vincent's dream after dealing with the demon thing, right?
We had talked to Vincent about what was going on.
Yeah.
We also dealt with the chef just to make sure, because that's where the tongues were being kept in the kitchen.
Mm-hmm.
Got some of the lowdown about what his sister can do. She can basically do improvised spell focuses by taking anything and turning it into a spell focus, apparently. Still don't have the nobles written down perfectly. But yeah, according to the spell was a modified version that Lady Fleur Carinthia told us we basically had to make her care.
So,
And I believe Vincent said the only one that he would care about, or the only one that he felt she could care about the most would be Commander.
mm-hmm. So, that's where we unfortunately left off the last time. So, you guys are still in the kind of servants' quarters where Vala's body had been resting while Vala was dreamwalking. And
Mechanically, have we taken care of the whatever the is three tongues restored and a noble does?
yeah, the three members of the Blood Council have been restored.
Yeah,
So
I don't know that's was that Liliane that benefits?
yeah, I
Well,
think Lillian, you and
Yeah.
I had a conversation. You get a little more max hit points. And I believe there's still 2 left that are unaccounted for from the Blood Council. So
So obviously we need to do SpongeBob Sweet Victory rendition from the Bubble Dome in front of her.
I mean that seems like a valid plan in a world where SpongeBob doesn't exist.
You give me 5 minutes,
Doesn't?
I'll make a SpongeBob character.
Wait, in a world where SpongeBob doesn't exist, so canonically SpongeBob does exist in this world, or did I
No,
understand?
this is a world where SpongeBob does not exist.
Oh, okay.
Well, I mean,
This-
they've proven
this
that
is
it
a
does
world. That's
cause kids to
He's
get
on the-
dumber. Maybe that's the only thing that exists for
No,
children.
no.
in this
He's in
world.
the Aqueous realm.
Oh, there we go. Yeah. So yeah, Vincent is kind of brooding at this point. He's trying to kind of come up with something.
So I have a series of very bad ideas. Idea 1. I can pretend to be you, Vincent, and you can pretend to be your brother.
The thing with Elizabeth is she was always able to tell us apart.
Dead siblings.
Like, we used to enjoy terrorizing my mother by convincing her that she had the wrong one. Never able to do that. We never figured out how. She just instantly knew. We
Okay.
roped her in a few times to help us out, but there's no way you could convince her you were Booker without being Booker.
Yeah, you mean you wouldn't be able to convince her?
Oh, in no
Or
way,
you're
shape, or
saying-
form. If you wanted to attempt to pretend to be Booker, it wouldn't work.
I can be very convincing. My other idea is that I could pretend to be Booker, you could pretend to be. It's still weird to say. I could pretend to be Booker, you could be you, and I could try to deceive her into thinking I was Booker, and then she could think of me as a person, and then that would break the spell. But you seem to believe that won't work.
Like I said, she's just always known. I've never known anyone that was ever able, in that particular instance. We were very close when we were children. And if you want to
I-
attempt it, you're more than welcome, but we're only going to get one shot at this. As soon as her guard is up, there's no chance.
We could wait until nightfall. When she sleeps, I could try re-entering her dream. Again, pretending to be Booker, but
The Fleur speaks up. There is a problem. The spell removes the ability to dream.
okay.
Messes with a lot of things. Dreams are very easy ways for manipulation to happen. So when I designed the spell, there's one thing that I made sure would not happen, especially with something as simple as needing to see another person as a person. Your dreams can create a lot of things to fight against that.
Okay. Clever. So we're down to plan D, I believe. We could try to leverage Argenta's kind of taking Booker's guns as needing to seek vengeance on behalf of Booker and vengeance against the Dark Lord, and maybe that shared that idea that the truth that the Dark Lord did murder Booker, and Argenta's wanting to get revenge on that could potentially make her see Argenta as a person.
You think it could work? Again, this particular manifestation of this spell has been. I've watched my sister use children as playthings, something that my actual sister would never do.
We've heard stories.
I can't see her forming any sort of a bond with anyone aside from Booker. I mean, if you think you convince her, go for it, but
Well, our understand. Forgive me for I'm playing catch up. I'm sorry. I've never met their friend, your sibling Booker. Um, were my understand? I was given to understand that Booker wasn't a particularly fond of the family.
there were things happened.
Was he? What did you? As far as things go, did you three have a good relationship with him?
We were younger. I mean, we were family. We were twins. We fought like all brothers do.
Well, some siblings hate each other literally, not just in letter form.
We took different paths. And then my understanding is Booker died. We had thought him dead for years. There had been rumors that he had survived, but no one was able to confirm. And I mean, for years, Elizabeth held out hope. And we
So
eventually
did-
had to convince her to lose it.
To put it frankly, did you three love Booker?
Yes, of course. He's my brother. He's my twin.
Well, again, not all families are that close. But if this is true, we don't necessarily have to have a person. It doesn't have to be a living person. Grieving the loss of someone is also caring. You grieve because you care and you miss them.
But we grieved long before any of this happened. Again, I convinced her he was gone. I don't even know how much to the time we've been here for. But
Knowing what he's been through, or what he went through this whole time while he was alive. I'm not trying to open old wounds, but at the same time, it's kind of hard to. There's coming to terms with versus if someone actually did deal with their grief at all. I'm given that you're. I understood the bare minimum that the family dynamic wasn't the best
no, it's
as got older.
a theory, and it's better than anything I've got right now. My only thought was, if we can't change her, we can at least prevent her from doing any more harm.
And I hate to also point this out. The dead can't pass on here in your realm. I don't know if you're aware of that. The souls are, if those that are still remain cannot pass on, and only know what happens to those who have been here so long that maybe they have or haven't been consumed, destroyed, what have you. It's all kind of tumultuous right now. But the dead cannot pass on. So, I say this as a concern, as my concerns, the reason why I've been involved in all this, but also one more thing for her to care about what may be going on with Booker, even if he is no longer living.
Possibly. My thought was we have facilities here that were utilized by the former utilizer of my body to extend suffering, for lack of a better term. However, they're very good at containment. If we could capture her in some way, I could keep her contained here until we can come up with a better solution. As long as she is able to act freely and continue abusing this town, we can't let that keep going on.
Oh, that is a bit of a concern. She somehow was able to one. How did the orbs work? I should say, I'm sorry, the flying orbs. I should say the flying orbs, but also the detonation. Just picking a building and you were able to release the spell. It wasn't activating the spell. It seemed to be.
Oh, yes, there are. I don't understand it fully. Magic was never my thing. But my understanding is there's effectively magical traps set all over the town. And simply by tripping them intentionally, it causes them to activate. And she somehow understands, like if they were a tripwire, she knows where to pull to activate the tripwire. It's exactly that.
Yep.
It's not the only way to activate them. She just knows whatever is necessary to
Make the mousetrap snap.
yeah, that's what it is.
So do we need to somehow lure her to these facilities?
Oh, she's not going to go there willingly, but if we're careful, we might be able to render her unconscious. Like, as long as she's conscious, even without her wand, she's very dangerous. She has, as much as I can tell the guards to not hurt you, she can control them. She has some connection she was bestowed with in this mansion. They listen to her over me. So as long as she's conscious and able to command the guards here, I mean, this is not something that I would want to have to deal with.
How? I know how your previous chef operated, but you did have staff here. What food are they eating?
Whatever. Well, the staff that we had were these here under permanent invisibility spells.
Well, you also had people like the children that were working here. I'm presuming you weren't starving them while you were working them. Or were you?
The children stayed here long enough to entertain. In general, they weren't here long enough to be affected by hunger pains. If you understand.
There goes that idea. Okay.
The only people that ate regularly here were her and I, and those meals were designed to be as torturous to us as they were life-sustaining.
Okay, if anything happens, you're just going to have to say that the chef did something out of line and you had to put him down.
She could care less about the chef.
Also care about not being fed.
Well, again, she's not going to have to wait around long enough to miss a meal.
Right. We can. We should act quickly.
To be fair, by the time she would recognize there's something wrong with the chef, she would also recognize there's something wrong with me, and that's a much more dangerous thing.
She does seem to find her things. I'm throwing out ideas. Does anyone happen to have any alcohol, wine? I know you've all have been able to loot and plunder far more than I've been able to.
We have a
Um,
wine cellar with
Actual wine?
fortified wine. Some
Drinking contest.
exceptionally rare vintages. Um,
Was she a fan of wine? Or is she a fan of wine?
she's a fan of whatever makes her happy. Wine can do that. The demon that was controlling me did his best to encourage her to avoid it. And I did not drink very often because controlling a drunk, unwilling body is significantly more difficult. We haven't had anything to drink in weeks. Just not due to intentions, we just never had the time.
Well, considering what you have been eating, it probably wouldn't be much of a issue to get that to be effective.
The only problem is getting there. The wine cellar is off of the pantry, which is off of the kitchen. It was covered in refuse and remarkably unpleasant to be in there. But if you can deal with the scent and the miasma in there, near the back, there's a hidden wall. The cellar was hidden. Put weight on the right section of the wall, it opens up very easily. And we just have to come up with a reason for her not to suspect that it's strange that we're trying to get her to drink.
Simply offer it. Don't make a big deal out of it. Just offer it to her.
Again, I need to give a reason why. Again, we didn't drink very often. I don't know why they stopped her from drinking, but it messed with the possession.
I have an idea. I will surrender myself. You can bring me to her, and I will say that I have been bested, and I wish to drink a toast to you. To her, and I can play it up.
If you've been captured, she's going to want to celebrate. And the celebrations that she does are remarkably unpleasant.
I'm wondering if we could have her get the drink first. Before her celebration.
For her to be inebriated enough, she will need to enjoy herself. I don't know if you've ever endured torture.
The Dark Lord had me murdered and killed and revived over and over and over and over and over again. Not a fan. But
If you're willing to endure horrible things, I think that's a plan that could work. But again, this is not something I would wish on my worst enemy.
right.
If you're
I'm
going
not-
to go that route, I'm going to remind you I need to put a death ward on you again.
I'm
Just to be
I'm
safe.
I'm not jumping at that opportunity. I'm merely pointing out. So I mean, is there any other ideas for how we can get her to drink?
You how good are you at not quite illusion magic, but misdirection, convincing people things are happening that are not.
I'm pretty good at it.
What if she didn't torture you? What if I did?
I mean, I think I could perform the act of someone who has been tortured. I've been tortured myself. I have recent experience seeing it. I could fake that.
There are physical aspects of it. Do you have ways to simulate bruises, cuts, the like?
Funnily enough, yes, we actually were uh, applying that at the time when we were preparing to meet you.
I'm familiar with disguise kit. I can make actual wounds. Um,
You're going to get hurt as part of this. Not enough that I believe it should scar you for life, but this is not going to be completely pleasant. If you're okay with that, and you're as good as you seem to think you are, I think this could happen. What can the rest of you do that might help sell this idea?
If you're going to do some preemptive hurts before she sees Vala,
I think
um,
with my skill set, it would look bizarre if I brought you before her completely unscathed.
like Rowan, like I could show you the spots where you should strike someone and it should cause adverse harm. Like he points to Vala, like if you hit here, it will bruise. It will look very nasty. If you hit here, they will be peeing blood.
Useful skills. I think actual bruising would be more effective than theater
That's why I'm
if you're
saying
willing
if you,
to endure it.
yeah.
I can help minimize the damage.
Good. Sorry, I'm
I think
only
if you
known
just
you
simply
for a very short time, but he points at Liliane and Argenta. Do you have any ideas on how we might sell this better?
what specifically would you want? What specifically is the subject of the torture? I guess we should ask.
It's a victory lap.
Okay. Gloating.
She enjoys the feeling of power and authority, and pain tends to be a very simple expression of that power and authority.
And what if you turned that into you questioning about Booker?
How do you mean?
They would, we know, but well, they would, I don't know, but about what happened to Booker, about the life he had, like turning it into.
It's okay. It's okay, Argenta. I know it's all this talk of Booker. It's giving me feelings as well. I think what I think what Relwyn is trying to say is that you found me on the grounds, you interrogated me, and I told you the story of Booker. That he didn't live. You are familiar. Have you heard the tales of Commander?
There was a rebel in
He was your brother.
Sanguinius.
He was your brother.
You see him just kind of collapse in on himself, kind of laughing for a moment. And you can see like his eyes are damper. You can see him kind of blinking back tears. we had a sorry, we had a rivalry. Both of us wanted to lead the Musketeers. He was significantly more skilled with a gun. My specialty was a blade.
The key would also be reminding her about her involvement with Booker as well. Was there anything that they did? The three of you were keen on growing up, or maybe an interaction between her and Booker.
I mean, Booker and I were meant to follow in my father's footsteps. She followed our mother. Many was there a day when we would go through training or whatever, and after everything was done, we'd all meet up and enjoy each other's company, trade stories, eat meals together. We were family. It's hard to explain.
Every
think-
time you bring up Booker and Strike, you could take a drink of wine. Maybe eventually she would follow suit.
I think
We water down your glass, or perhaps we. Can you just fake drinking wine? It would simply just make the motion, and you just make the swallow.
I can outdrink my sister.
I want you as sober as possible, obviously.
I think the alcohol might sell it more. And if we get into a physical altercation, I can't attack my sister.
No, yeah, I wouldn't expect you to.
So my inability to fight will have no impact on what happens afterwards.
I would be more concerned about your ability to this containment device.
Valid point. I should probably explain its operation before we do this.
With my background, would I be familiar with such a device, or?
I mean, there's lots of different containment devices, like prisons in general. There are magic prisons and physical prisons. You guys were stuck in the Prime Material plane. You guys were stuck in the Dark Lord's dungeon with those bars that resisted magic that Commander turned into bullets. So
We saw the dungeons in Realm of Master. Is that what you're discussing, or is this something else entirely? A different
There's
room,
a-
a special room.
there's a particular room. Again, I can show it to you. I can show you how it operates. I think it would be in
Okay.
everyone's best interest to have someone other than me understand.
Yes.
All right, let's start with that then.
Do you think some kind of get cat is weapons by 7 more?
My thought actually was Argenta. If I could borrow my brother's sidearm, I could bring that. You can keep mine for use if necessary. I could bring that in as proof that Vala had done something to Booker, and then go from there.
Sure, and she'll pull out Fury.
Well, let's wait until I show you this containment cell. If you would all follow me. And he starts kind of leading you through some of the servants' cooker quarters. And you guys go to a part of the mansion that you haven't been before. It looks like a little study. You know, small kind of rotunda shaped. It's got windows outlooking the back of the property. There's a very small table in the center with a single chair and then next to it. Then the wall is just covered in bookcases where there's no windows. There's books everywhere. And he goes in, he sits in the chair, turns it towards the table, and leans back. And as he does, you watch as the ground slowly starts to recede, and you can see this kind of hidden staircase start to appear on the floor. And he stands up and goes, "Hurry, the door's only open for a few moments." He starts going down the stairs. Do you guys follow? Do you...
Follow. Yep.
Okay.
Oh yeah, I'll follow.
All right. So as you guys go down, the stairs themselves go down really deep. Like, you pass the 10-foot mark, 20-foot mark, 30-foot mark. The air itself has started to become colder and damp. You start smelling that kind of musty smell. And eventually it opens into, if you look up the word dungeon in a historical dictionary, this would be the picture you would expect. You can see cages hanging from the ceiling. The ceiling itself is about 25, 30 feet high, depending on where it is. You can see cells along the wall. In the very center, you can see this strange spherical glass container. Underneath it, there are various sigils and other arcane symbols. It's reinforced with metal. You can see there is a single door in it to kind of, and it's large enough to fit maybe like one large creature or a few medium-sized creatures.
It's big enough to contain a person.
Yeah. He points to it and goes, "These cages, the bars themselves, have something about them that resists magic. If you're inside them, no spell cast inside can reach outside. The Dark Lord came here once and showed that he had some way to bypass this resistance, but he never explained how he did it."
Does this look like the glass to the tower? Like similar, like the lenses?
Not quite. And what he's describing is the cells on the sides, not the... He hasn't referenced the big glass ball in the middle yet.
Ah.
The central containment sphere is similar to a spell that creates a sphere of invulnerability. I was never able to... No one was ever able to explain exactly what the material is, but it is completely impervious to damage, completely impervious to spells. Anyone that you put in there and seal it is completely cut off from the rest of the world, and the only way to unseal it is from the outside. In addition, the various sigils and things on the ground allow for us to control the inner diameter of this space. It can be as large as it is now, or it can be as small as a single foot in diameter. So, reducing the size is a remarkably effective method of encouragement. And because the thing that is growing or shrinking is completely immune to any magical or physical manipulation, there's nothing that the target inside can do to stop it. The only one I know of that might be able to get out of it is the Dark Lord himself. If you were to put her in there, bare minimum, she would be safe. And by decreasing the size of the inner sphere, I can open the outer door, put food or anything inside, close it, and then increase it again to be able to keep her fed for as long as is necessary. Thoughts?
No, I think this is a good place.
I don't know if I'd go as far as saying good,
Well,
but it is effective in what it does.
yes.
Could also be effective in making and forcing her to listen. I understand the task. I understand it's not simple.
Well, first step, we have to get her in here.
Okay, so I guess it's time to make with the deception.
All right. So I'm going to have you guys roll because you don't want me rolling. Go ahead and make me, let's say, 4 Constitution saving throws.
Can I guidance these? Because
Sure.
I'm well aware what we're trying to do.
Sure. And with Rowan's help, I'll give you advantage on the saves.
No, so say like hit here, don't hit it, don't hit here.
So 4 Constitution saving throws with advantage.
Yep. And
All right.
guidance.
So 1d4.
All right, so my first one, which was is an 18.
18, cool.
Now let me actually run these with advantage.
Oh, thank God.
Oh,
Because one of those was bad, but that wasn't with advantage, was it?
I accidentally rolled 2 individual rolls.
Oh, okay.
That I'm confused.
Well, might be rough.
I'm confused by what that roll just was.
That was a custom roll.
It was a custom roll, and it looked like I rolled it with advantage. I got 2 2s. Let me.
If it's easier, just roll the con checks and then add the d4s later.
Just roll
Yeah,
the
just
d4s
roll.
post.
Just roll con checks with advantage and then add the d4s after.
Okay, that's
Lord.
so. I think that's 25.
Okay.
That is 19.
Okay. One more.
Well, a natural 20. I didn't need to roll
Okay,
advantage on that.
So, so he proceeds to take the rapier out of its scabbard and using the guard on it, starts to like hit you across the face to get some cuts, busts your lip open a little bit. Comes around and hits you a few times on your sides to get bruising around your ribs and things like that. He slices your garments in a way that the bruises show a little bit better. And through Rowan kind of directing him to places that kind of bruise easily and look really bad when they bruise, you have, like he goes and kind of squeezes your neck hard enough to leave some marks there without actually causing any damage. And other places that would kind of be common in a scuffle, like you've got a really nice shiner going on and
Nice.
marks on your neck. He uses just his fingernails a little bit to put some scratch marks on, like, you know, your shoulders and your arms and things like that.
Yeah.
Periodically between, he's like, are you doing okay? Are you?
I'm good. I might want to. I think I need a split lip at least.
Okay, and he very carefully, but he takes like the very edge of the guard, just pop, just enough to split it relatively nicely, and you taste blood from it. I don't know if you've ever split your lip, but it's a remarkably, like, it burns. The weirdest thing about it is it burns.
I appreciate the deliberateness.
So afterwards, with the cuts and the tears to Vala's clothing and the injuries, like, she looks rough.
Did I take any damage from that?
A little bit. Let's say
Say we were post dream fight, so we still took some stuff.
Right. I'm at 71 right now. I was.
10 points of bludgeoning damage total.
Okay.
That was 4d6 because I rolled 2 2s, a 1, and a 5.
So what are you at now?
I'm at 61
Out of
148.
okay, we actually need you not severely harmed right now. So
Well, if you cast any healing spells, it will start to knit her wounds. Like, it'll start
Yeah.
removing bruises. It'll
Yeah, that's
cure
the-
her split.
Yeah.
but she was already. I mean, Vala was already rough to begin with because of our fight with the demon in the dreams.
I think I'm good. I need to be able to sell this. I'm a method actress, so
Okay, well, I'm running low on spells, but I need you safe, so I'm going to use my last fifth level to give you a death ward again.
okay. I will take that gladly.
We're gonna regret ruining the carriage now.
Yeah. We didn't ruin it. Oh, by the
Oh yes, yeah. By the way, we ruined your carriage.
By the way, we didn't ruin the carriage.
I said ruined, not broken.
We merely jammed up some of the tracks so that it wouldn't make a full seal.
We'll deal with that later.
Right.
All right. We all ready?
As I'll ever be.
Understand, if she starts to realize this is going poorly, the rest of you need to be ready to intervene immediately.
Are we gonna? Where are we going to be when this is going on?
Yeah.
Well, we normally take our meals in the parlor. There's a stage there. Perfect place for us to be able to put on a show.
Oh, then we can be in one of the secret passages.
That's what I was thinking. Eventually he kind of comes up to you, Val, and he kind of takes you aside and he goes, I need you to understand this. Simply because I can take her wand away doesn't make her less dangerous. Makes her a different kind of dangerous. If this goes poorly, even with your friends there, there's a good chance you're not making it out of this. Do you fully understand that?
Yes. It's. I know it's a risk, but I think this is our best chance to cause the least amount of harm.
Okay.
I'm willing to take that chance.
I have to give her her wand in the beginning. She'll know something's up if I don't. I can take it back from her with a thought.
Yes.
But understand, she's going to have it. All right. So he kind of gets up. The rest of you ready?
Yeah.
Okay. Let's go capture my sister. And he starts kind of wandering up.
Just to be clear, we will also have the wine present as well, yes?
Say again?
We will also have the wine present as well.
Yeah, he's going to bring
Oh,
a couple
okay.
bottles with him. So,
I'll bring out multiple. Make it seem like you're partying.
yeah. Do you guys have everybody except Vala, because Vala is with Vincent right now, so you can't participate in this. The rest of you, do you have any other things that you want to kind of prep before everything gets going? Because you can technically get to the secret passage looking into the parlor before they're going to get there. So,
Regarding the binding restraining for Vala, as a precautionary measure, like, do you have any healing potions, Vala?
I don't think so.
she can't have any honor.
No, even hiding.
Yeah, she's gonna be. She is already in a position where hiding something on her with all the cuts and everything, to show off the bruises would be very, very difficult, if not impossible.
So, given these restrictions, am I going to be able to hide my flute of the piercing flame, like in a boot?
Not on you. If you want to have it near the room, you can. But
Okay.
again, she's going to be close enough to you to be able to see just about anything that you're hiding.
Okay.
Aside from having like there's a spell that I can't remember what it's called, but it basically creates like a hidden pouch, a magical mini bag of holding and clothing. Aside from something like that, where it's specifically designed to be undetectable, she's going to be too close to be able to hide anything.
So then I think
You be maybe it would be for Vincent to have that.
You do that, Vincent might have your dagger with him.
yeah, I'll give that to him then, and then the only thing I would then try to make sure I have is my warlock.
Well, and that's just
Pendant.
a necklace, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, that's easy enough to kind of explain. Have she? Did you use it as a spellcasting focus when you fought her last?
I want to say that I would have used the flute more. Like, I do remember charging up a couple of my fireballs with that.
Okay, let's
But I would
let's
be
do it this
happy
way.
to
Choose even or odd.
even.
All right. You believe that during the one time she's seen you actually fight, you didn't actually use your necklace.
Okay.
So as far as you're aware, she doesn't realize it's a spell focus.
Okay. I will just kind of like make sure that's buried as
Okay.
deep as I can.
And remind me again what it physically looks like.
It's like a red quartz crystal in like a cage.
Okay.
And the crystal does not glow anymore.
Okay. All right. Any other prep work that you guys want to do?
No.
I am running so low on spells. I don't think there's anything else I can utilize right now. Nothing else I can use. Nothing else I can give her either.
All right. So
Just please remember you have Death Ward.
all of you kind of file into the very, very tight quarters. Because of how thin the passage is that allows you to see, I need a marching order. Who's going to be in the front? And they'll subsequently be the only person that can physically see what's going on.
Depends what we are. Just who wants the keenest eye. What we're examining and we're keeping an eye on. I mean, I could keep it like saying like when if we have to absolutely jump in, it could be me. But if we need someone to go for her quickly is the issue, I would say Liliane or Argenta, because we need her incapacitated as quickly as possible.
So, who wants to be in the front?
I can be.
Okay. So, all three of you are up there, as ready as you would like to be for kick of combat. After probably about like a minute or two after you guys are kind of settled in, you guys see Elizabeth kind of come into the parlor. And on the stage at the bottom, where normally there would be like maybe like a baby grand or something there for the performers, there's a little kind of breakfast nook style table there and a couple chairs. And she comes in, and the first thing that she notices is that she looks around. She seems to be looking for something you would assume her breakfast. She doesn't see it, and so she gets this kind of like really scrunched up face. She goes over to one of the chairs and just sits down, kind of mad, looking around, waiting for something to happen. And then the upper doors open, and Vala, I need you to make me a dex save, because he's going to throw you down the kind of center stairs.
That's a 12.
12. All right.
It's like the guards.
So as he comes to the door with you, he goes, "Brace yourself. This is probably going to be unpleasant." Kicks the door open and kind of grabs you by like the scruff of, what are you wearing currently? Like, you wear just like a dress or like rogue outfit?
I'm thinking more like a rogue outfit, like leather jacket.
Okay. So he kind of takes the back of your leather jacket, and he kind of surprised, like he has really strong hands, and he just kind of almost lifts you off your feet a little bit and throws you down this kind of center tiered aisle. It's not full on stairs. They're longer than stairs, but it does go down. And as you go down, you take a total of 11 points of bludgeoning damage as you just kind of boom, 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 and eventually kind of land in a puddle of yourself on the floor. And Elizabeth immediately reaches for her wand and realizes it's not there. And Vincent kind of holds it up. "You seem to have dropped something again, dear sister." "Vinny, won't you have it?" "Because this one decided to steal it while you were sleeping. How many times have I told you to keep it safe and locked up when you're asleep?" "But Vinny, I was supposed to be here. It's not fair." "Well, I thought we could have some fun dealing with her." And you watch as her eyes light up. "Oh, Vinny, you're so nice to me. You just always know how to make the day better. We actually have a bit of a special reward today Really, Vinny? She was holding this, and he pulls out Fury, and you watch as well. Go ahead and roll an insight check for me.
That's a 20.
20, cool. So most people would not catch this because the emotions kind of go so quickly that you just kind of see a weird, almost like stuttering of her facial expression. You catch it really, really quickly from your experience vigilanteism or vigilante-ing. You've seen something like this happen before where someone who thought that they were in power, you reveal something that reveals something about them that they don't want the public around them knowing about. And so they very, very quickly go through this kind of fear to mask and back again, like really, 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 really fast. And so you kind of see that. And at the end of that, you see her kind of worried a bit. And Vincent is now walking down the stairs. This one seems to have met our dear, beloved brother. And she is the one who killed him. And as he comes by you, he looks at you, and without really thinking, you know exactly what he's going to do. Kicks you in the ribs. You kind of roll with it, so you don't really take any damage, but you sell the kick.
I mean, you are bruised.
Yeah.
I'll like spit blood out on the floor.
And when she invokes the brother, you watch as, like, almost involuntarily, you see tears welling up in her eye, but the rest of her expression doesn't match that. She doesn't look sad at all, but for some odd reason, she seems to be involuntarily crying at this. He killed Bookie? Or she killed Bookie? Yes. So, since it's been so long since we've had any sort of resolution about this, I figured today, and he reaches behind into his coat where he's hidden the multiple bottles of wine, we could celebrate. And he starts kind of putting them down, almost like clown car-esque. He just keeps pulling out. Eventually he has 5 bottles of fortified wine. And you see her kind of get that expression of kids when they're giving, you know, mom and dad have put a cake in front of them. And they're like, but I'm not allowed to eat cake for breakfast. What is this? Am I going to get breakfast cake? Finny, get the glasses out of the cupboard. And she gets up and she goes over to a little kind of armoire almost looking thing, opens it up, and there's like full like crystal glassware. Like really high quality. Like you, when you're the Inquisitor, you had glassware or crystalware like this. This is highly expensive. Like you could have bought half of the town with this set. And so she brings them out, and he somehow produces a corkscrew. You have no idea where the corkscrew came from. And you hear the and you go, and he pours a glass for himself. Kind of rolls it around. After you, dear sister. Ooh, okay. And then she reaches for it, and she realizes she still doesn't have her wand, and so she kind of like plods over, and she goes, and he puts the wand in her hand, and she like swings it around. You can see kind of magic flowing from it. I think, and you watch it just kind of glow with electricity, and she pokes you with it. And I may have just hit a button on my keyboard that I don't know what it did. All right, didn't break anything.
We're still streaming.
All right. And you you recognize a grasping shock. So I'm going to make an attack roll. Or what is it called? The lightning hand maneuver. It's a cantrip.
Yeah, it's a spell attack.
Yeah, but what's it called? What's
Shocking
the spell
Grasp?
called? Shocking Grasp. Thank you. You recognize a Shocking Grasp attack. She unfortunately gets advantage on this. So does a 25 hit your AC?
Yes, that does.
Okay. Shocking Grasp at a D8. I think we're going to call it a D8. 8, 12, 17, 23 points of lightning damage.
I will do the Luke from Return of the Jedi.
Ah! That was fun! Elizabeth, you're always so quick to break your toys. Allow me. And he comes around, and again, another kick. You see it coming, like, the way it was described to me by my first instructor for stage combat was John Wayne had punches that took so long he could have conversations with them. Same basic thing. You see a boot coming directly for the side of your face. You know exactly where it's coming. Go ahead and make me... I'll let you choose performance. Sleight of hand.
Performance.
Okay. Go ahead and make a performance check for me then.
I rolled kind of low, so only a 32.
Okay. So as it gets close to you, you clap your hands as you bring it up to create a nap. If anyone's unfamiliar, nap is the dudge sound that you see in like movies. The sound of things punching, like it's called a nap. And in stage combat, you do it by like clapping and stuff like that. So you do that to create a nap, and then you hit the ground, spit some blood again. If you continue to use your magic, this will be over in a matter of moments, and I don't happen to have a lich with us to resurrect her when she dies. You're right, Vinny. Don't worry, I'm very good at this. All right. A toast. Yay! And she goes, just downs it in one gulp. Vinny, this is really good. You kind of yours now, too. And you see him drink a decent amount. And he brings his hand up, and you watch him just slowly kind of let probably about half of it out onto his hand as he just kind of wipes his hand and then wipes the rest of it on his clothing. It's a good year. Another? Yes! So he pours her another, and he comes over. He draws his rapier, places it kind of below your chin, and uses it to kind of force your head up. So the first thing you're going to tell us is, how did you find my brother?
It was easy. He always had a soft spot for helping people. So I knew there was a village that had been attacked. So I waited along the pathway to that village, and there he was. He was asking for help. Idiot.
As you say that, he brings his hand back and backhands you. Make me another performance check.
Uh, 25.
25. Again, see it coming, go with it, sell it perfectly. You are not worthy enough to call him that, you ingrate. My brother was so much more than you will ever be.
Yeah, well. He was looking for help to defend the village, so I volunteered, earned his trust. And then, when he least expected it, I stabbed him in the back.
As you say that, Elizabeth has downed her second glass, and she comes over and just smacks you on the top of the head with her wand.
Technically 3, I'm going to count that.
What was that?
Technically 3, because she downed 2.
Oh, yeah. So,
Yeah.
thanks for keeping track. And so she just starts
Oh,
kind of
hey.
like hitting you with this wand, which the amount of strength that she has is not enough to cause serious damage. But with how many other times you've been hit thus far, it's unpleasant to have something just like wrapping the top of your skull. You stupid, stupid girl! I should. And you see her start charging another spell, and Vincent kind of steps in the way. I've already told you, if you kill her too quickly, you won't have a toy to play with. Fine. She goes back and she goes to take, and there's nothing in her glass. And she just gives this accusatory look at Vincent. He wanders over, pours another glass. So, you took this as a prize? And he lifts up Fury.
Yeah. Never quite figured out how it worked, but it was shiny. Could flash it around. Scared some people.
Another kick starts going for your ribs. Make me another performance check.
That's a 27.
So yeah, connects. You're able to kind of catch it with your hands and use it to literally lift yourself up slightly. So it looks like he's just taking you off of your feet, slam on the ground, act like you've lost. You've had the wind knocked out of you.
This is borderline wrestling.
And then from the rafters, oh yeah!
Oh, he's using the steel chair!
I can't believe you thought you could take my brother's things and have no punishment. How dare someone as pathetic as you have something meant for a true noble? Yeah, and you're ugly too, and you smell bad. Vinny, I want to do something. What do you want to do?
Okay.
I want to do something, like you get to go and you get to... Why can't I do anything? Because you break things when you play with them. Don't you see? She murdered our brother. Her suffering should last for hours, and if you use your favorite spells, she will be a charred corpse. Yes, but she deserves to die. I agree with you. But there's a right and a wrong way to do this. Vinny, it's not fair. Can't you go find someone to make her... come back? Who do you expect me to find? I mean, who do we have in the town that would be able to resurrect her? I don't know. You've got to have someone in the town to do it. It's not fair. What if it's just a little bit? What if I just a little fire? I'll just burn like a little bit of her, so like the rest of her will be fine. I can just burn like a finger off.
One thing I will say, your brother didn't whine this much. He at least died with some dignity.
Make me... I'm going to call this... Make me a wisdom insight check.
Okay. That's a 14.
14, okay. So, you've manipulated people many, many times before. You know that it is a tightrope walk of egging them on enough to do the dumb thing that you want them to do, but not enough to do the dumber thing you don't want them to do. And it's always a gamble if you're going to manipulate them far enough that they go too far, they take it too seriously. And as you watch her, faster than you've seen anyone in a long time, just fling a firebolt at your eye, you realize that you've miscalculated slightly. She's going to take a shot at you. I've got way too much shit on this to be able to roll effectively. Alright, that was my first roll. Okay, so 25 versus AC.
That will hit.
Okay. Fortunately, this is a D10.
A D10.
Well, 4 of them. Because
Oh, God.
20th level firebolt.
Sorry, 20th? Oh,
Yeah. Because
firebolt from somebody who is level 20.
Cantrips
Okay.
level up with your level, not spell level. So
Got it.
7,
This is fine. This will be fine.
16.
You the fire, right?
So my next character.
To say one hit, you may be using that death board.
22 points of fire damage.
Oh, you!
Ooh.
By my count, you have like what? How much left?
I have 5.
And choose even or odd.
Odd.
All right. As she hits you with the fireball, it scorches your eye and blinds you until someone is able to cast a greater restoration on you. You now have only one working eye.
Okay.
When this happens, Vincent drops the facade. He sees it, and for just a brief moment, you can see the panic in his eyes. As he starts trying to move, just instinctively, he moves to try and protect you. And Elizabeth notices. Finny, what's going on? Trying to kind of recover. I've already told you, you're going to make this end. I mean, look at her. She's barely clinging on to life. Something else like that, it's going to be over. And I want this to last a long time. And you can see she's not quite convinced. What would you like to do to either try to help solve a lie, try to distract her? What do you want to do?
Oh God, I'm trying to think of what I can do to help draw more attention away from him. And I think I'll say something like, "It's not going to work. I'm not going to beg for my life."
And make me a persuasion check.
Okay. I have to hit the right dice. 24.
So you can see, you're not sure why. You hit a nerve with that. You're not sure what it was, but it definitely affected her more than you think it should have. And she immediately turns and just starts hitting you with the wand again. And not enough to do any more damage than you've already taken.
It stings.
Yeah. And so she's just wailing on you. over and over. And eventually, Vincent, after about like a solid minute and a half of her just going, "No, you're stupid and dumb, and you'll do what I say because this is my house and it's my city, and you're not supposed to be." And he eventually kind of comes over and puts a hand on her shoulder and another one on her the arm that she's beating you with, and slowly leads her away. It's okay. It's okay. He didn't know, or she didn't know. Don't worry. She's going to beg. She goes over and she goes and drinks like there's just a tiny bit left in her glass, and she looks at it, shoves the glass into Vincent, and he takes it, pours another. "Vinny, why aren't you drinking? I feel bad. I'm just trying to make sure that I'm in control enough that I don't accidentally kill this wench." Okay, she takes another drink, and you spend enough time in bars. She's hitting that point. Her speech hasn't slurred. You're actually really impressed. Her speech has not slurred almost at all. You can see her eyes are kind of drifting a little bit more. She's starting to feel the wine. She's not to the point where you would see her getting cut off or anything.
Tipsy.
Yeah. But she's definitely feeling it now. Her face is starting to become slightly more flushed. Okay, Vinny. What are we going to do next? Well, and he walks over to you. This one really likes running around a lot. And you know what makes that harder? Not having an Achilles tendon. And he takes his rapier and swings it full force at your leg. And just because of how you're situated on the ground, it catches the ground just before it would start slicing into you. But enough that it does actually break the skin and draw just the tiniest bit of blood. Make me a performance check.
22.
22. With a mixture of cries of pain, maybe splitting a little bit of, or taking a little bit of the blood from your split lip and just covering your ankle with it. You're now kind of gripping your ankle, and you've twisted it in such an awkward way that it looks like something seriously bad has happened to it. You kind of try and cover it up with your clothing. You try wrapping it or something. See? Very painful, but very livable. When you start aiming for things like the face, like, there's important things in there. Important things that when they get damaged, they stop breathing. But limbs, you don't need limbs. So, why did you think you could come in here carrying our property?
I was trying to show off to the Dark Lord.
Dark Lord doesn't like you. He told me he hates you. I'm his favorite. He loves me. He doesn't care about you. And now her speech is starting to slur a little bit.
I mean, for now.
Again, she jumps up, and this time Vincent's able to kind of put a hand in the way. And she's like, "No, I'm not." And she throws the wand at you. It hits you in like a shoulder, and it's pointy enough that it does actually break the skin a little bit. Not enough to actually draw blood. And then it kind of clambers to the floor, and he kind of brings her back, pours another glass for her, and goes, "Elizabeth, What did I tell you about losing your wand? But you could just bring it back. It doesn't matter. They can't keep it. Go, watch! And she puts the glass down without drinking it. She jumps up before Vincent can stop her. And even for someone as tipsy as she is, she's controlling herself pretty well. She comes over, she puts the wand in your hand and kind of tries to prop you up against a chair to kind of get you into a spot. Good try, Vinny. Vinny will stop you before you do anything. You can't hurt me. Vinny, show them. And
Oh.
he's kind of flabbergasted about what's going on here because you currently have a spellcasting focus in your hand.
I am going to just take it and start having my hand tremble,
Okay.
and then I'm gonna start doing the motions to cast a fireball.
Okay.
But very John Wayne-esque,
Okay.
so that way he'll have a chance to snatch it out of my hand.
All right. Go ahead and make another performance check.
Tommy.
I'm disappointed this wasn't a natural 20. I got a 36.
Okay, now I want her to smack you.
This is Vala casting fireball.
You start actually doing the incantation for fireball, and the little kind of bead of fire starts to actually kind of form. And you watch as he just raises his hand and twists it. Suddenly there's no more spellcasting focus in your hand. It's just not there, and he's holding it. And the little ball of fire that you were starting to create just kind of poof. And there's enough of the spell there that it does kind of explode in your face. You have burnt yourself so many times, it doesn't hurt you. But it's enough that Elizabeth says, "Yay! Yay, thank you!" And she goes to take it from Vincent, and he kind of moves his hand away. I'm not going to keep doing this if you keep throwing it away. The Dark Lord gave you this gift to show his appreciation. Vinny, it's mine. You're not allowed to keep it. Why did I bond with it? Well, because we didn't want them getting a hold of it. And what did you just do? Oh, I knew you were going to let Sir... And you see her start kind of licking her lips a little bit. Vinny, Vinny? Yes? I'm getting tired of this. This isn't fun anymore. I just feel sad. Can we just kill her now? I want to go take a nap. I understand. I'm gonna have one last conversation with her. He comes over and he gets really, really close. You don't happen to have a teleportation spell, do you?
Misty Step?
Good
Dimension
enough.
Door?
Dimension Door would be better. Because I'm going to blow you up.
Okay.
Understand?
Yes.
I need you to understand. Count to 3, not 4. Got it?
Yes.
Backhand across your face again. You're too good.
There are 3.
Definitely not 5.
Yeah. He gets up. You are not good enough to soil my blade. Elizabeth. Yes, yes. And she's like, her head's kind of swaying now. Where do we keep the explosives? Yay! So much fun! And she gets up and she goes over and presses on a kind of column. and her arm kind of disappears as the trick door moves, and she brings out effectively what looks like a grenade. Here you go, Vinny, and she drops it, and Vincent dives forward to catch it. You see him, whew, and he looks at you, and he goes, he dips his hand once, he dips his hand twice, and then the third one, he throws it at you. And it's arcing 1, 2, and I need a, choose a dexterity-based skill to roll. I'll let you choose what it is. But this is a timing thing.
I'm going to make an argument that this would be sleight of hand.
Sure. I'm good with that.
Oh. Okay.
What do we got?
15.
Okay. So, as you're doing that, you hold on to your spell focus. You start whispering the words for dimension door. You count 1, 2, 3, 3.5, and you teleport the same instant that the explosion goes off.
Oh.
Where are you teleporting?
Back to that central chamber.
Okay. I'm going to type this in because it's... I don't want to roll this many dice. Take 27 points of fire damage as part of the explosion travels with your dimension door.
Okay, so that is 22 points more than what I actually have.
Well, you
So I
used your
believe
death ward.
Death ward
Yeah.
kicks in.
So as you get there, you feel the explosion as it burns most of your body. It's white hot, extremely painful, and you feel yourself slipping out of unconsciousness. And at the moment that you're about to pass out, you suddenly feel this hand on your shoulder, and it suddenly moves down to your chest, and you feel this kind of strong pressure on your chest as if someone's almost giving you rescue compressions. And you stop breathing for just a moment, and then you feel like shit, but you are conscious. The rest of you watch this explosion go, and when it explodes, it is the full force of a fireball. It launches chairs in various directions. You watch as he turns his back to it and kind of ruffles his cape and protects himself and Elizabeth from the explosion. And when you guys look back, all that remains of Vala is a pile of smoldering rubble. As the ceiling is partially collapsed onto where she was, you can see flecks of blood around it, but you no longer see Vala. What would you all like to
do? I will simply say that after that, Vala will just say a silent prayer to the Dark Lady and be like, when all this is done, I will serve you.
Like, I'll go to church every Sunday. I'll go Wednesdays. If they're painting, the sanctuary, I will sit in my pew and watch them.
There are no atheists in foxholes.
Also, Relwood would probably notice that his spell has ended.
Yeah.
He can still check that.
Yeah, I think it would notice that with knowing he'd well, there should be a body, and there's not a body.
There's enough rubble there that it could hide a body, which is why this is convincing Elizabeth. But yeah, you know that your death ward went off, so you know that she's not dead yet. Do you guys want to do anything or just sit back and wait?
I think we have to wait because there's nothing else to do.
So,
Yeah.
as he kind of removes his cape from protecting them both and kind of turns back, Elizabeth goes, "Yes, it's so wonderful. You suck. You suck." And she picks up her wand and she shoots probably the worst looking firebolt you have ever seen as it goes and completely misses the pile of rubble that used to be Vivala.
Roman candle.
And then you see her kind of charging up another spell, and now she's doing burning hands and kind of destroys it. And then she casts a fireball on it. She's just casting every single fire spell she can. And eventually, after she gets to about 7th level, you see her just kind of stop and go, "Vinny, I don't feel very good. Make the room stop spinning." And she's really, really out of it. And Vincent goes and puts the drink in front of her. He goes, "It'll settle your stomach." Okay. And she takes one more and she is out. And as she kind of drops to the floor, he catches her as much as he can, takes her down slowly, and then looks up to where you guys are going and kind of nods you in.
If she's out, Rowan will run in because he's obviously he needs to like.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you guys
Ooh.
run in. He goes, "Can't believe I forgot this, but you guys don't have any rope or anything, will you? Something to make it easier for us to carry her? She's like a sleeping cat right now."
Well, you can just put her in the chamber. Do we really need to worry about rope?
We need to
Yeah.
get her there.
Yeah, I have rope.
Okay.
Yeah. So do I, probably.
Where is Vala?
I don't know. She teleported. Don't you guys have a way to find each other? And you watch him, like, for a moment, just kind of steady himself. Sorry, that wine's a lot more powerful than I thought. Here. And after kind of tying a few things up so that she's not just a pile of skidded bones that you're trying to manipulate, you kind of toss her over his shoulder. "I'm going to take her down. Find your friend." And he heads off. So what do you guys want to do?
Well, someone needs to track her.
I get I
Okay. How do you intend to find her?
um if I were back,
Going through. If I were Vala.
If I were Vala, at this point, I would probably go, shit, I should probably use sending to let them know I'm okay.
Okay.
So I will cast sending and let Argenta know, hey, I'm okay-ish. I have one, I'm barely clinging on, and I'm back in the central hub for the servants.
You can reply to this message. If you're trying to say anything, Argenta, you're muted.
Regular texting rates do apply.
Not available in.
I'll
Go ahead.
I'll just respond saying we're gonna come get you. And then tell the rest of them she's in the servant central hub. Let's go get her.
Rowan takes off like a shot. Like, well, it's a good thing she told the fucking healer where to go, and
Yeah.
and then Rowan will run.
After you cast your spell, Vala, as you're kind of laying there, trying to will your body to stop hurting, you suddenly feel a strange weight in your pocket.
Okay. What do I have in my pockets? I will reach into my pocket.
As you reach in, you notice that you have a strange-looking coin, very similar to the one that you guys found after dealing with each of the other two generals. You have no idea where it came from.
Okay. I mean, what does it look like? Just
I'm trying to remember how I described it before. It's basically a coin that has some symbols on it that you don't recognize.
Yeah.
But it's not identical to the other two ones, but they look like a set, if that makes sense.
okay. It's familiar, but
Mhm.
huh. I will flip it
Mhm.
and then catch it and see what side it lands on.
Tails.
Okay.
So a few moments after you flip it and catch it, you hear the heavy footfalls of Relwyn coming down the hallway. Relwyn, when you arrive, you see Vala barely clinging to life.
He's running full. He's doing the anachronistic. He's slamming into a wall to stop. He's like,
You
Damn
also
it, Vala!
see, like, where her right eye used to be is a
Yeah,
burnt out
immediately.
socket.
oh yeah, he immediately clocked. That's when he goes like, like,
I-
yeah.
Apparently, some people find me quite vexing.
Beard.
Some people outside of this room even find me quite vexing.
Rowan just literally goes. He goes, "Shut up!" and he puts his hands on her, and for first off, he's just going to cast because she's knocked out. Rowan's just like, she's going to the cage. Fuck it. He's casting 9th level heal,
Okay.
and so
So I
just
believe that's just a bunch of hit points, right?
yeah, 100.
Jesus.
Is that the new version of it?
Well, heal is just a straight that hasn't changed.
They didn't increase the amount that heal
I
does?
didn't check. Actually, it's a fair point. I never
Yeah.
checked.
Look it, because I can't remember if they actually increased that or not. But if they did, give her more hit points.
Heal.
So yeah, Vala, as you're sitting there and you're starting to slip into unconsciousness, because despite the fact that you have one hit point ain't a whole lot.
Right.
And suddenly you feel, again, a similar but different presence on your chest, and then boom, you feel this healing energy rush through your body. You feel your lip start to heal, the bruises start to fade.
It's the same.
Same, okay. So you get basically half your hit points back instantly.
Jesus. I accidentally took 100 points of damage.
You
will
are
correct that.
tripled it.
And you're gone. I hope you guys weren't too attached to Vala. Luckily enough, we have Vala's sister, Bala.
And then he casts Greater Restoration because obviously he understands because what you just said. So obviously he casts that.
So you feel the eye sockets start to kind of rego. Your eye was basically kind of seared shut. Your eyelid was kind of seared shut, and so you feel this kind of, you see this kind of line of light just kind of cut across your right eye technically, and you kind of blink, and the kind of scar tissue slowly starts to go away. It starts to focus again. You're not 100%, but you're feeling a lot better than you were.
It will take more than a stiff wind to take me out right now.
He gently takes his hand away, sees the eye. What were you thinking?
You have enough hit points to deal with this now.
Look, I have a lot of experience with people and driving them to drink. Do you not want a cold beverage right now? I... Ow! Thank you, Rowan.
It's just like,
So I take it worked?
she's drunk and he's putting her in her hamster ball.
We should probably follow to... Is she unconscious or just very drunk?
She's drunk unconscious.
Okay.
So she's down. She'll be down for a while. We need to recoup while she is in a cell. We can catch up on this.
We should probably make sure that she's in the cell.
Yes, obviously.
So you guys go to the study.
Also, and I would also say, like, get the vampire nobles, because maybe we might need to, like, a little bit of perspective on this, but, like,
Okay.
if anything, just academic, really, because...
So as you all kind of meet in this subterranean to the dungeon, you can see she is just this kind of puddle of flesh in the middle of this ball. And the door that was there before doesn't exist anymore. Apparently when it seals completely and you can't even tell where the door was. Vincent is sitting in a chair nearby. I don't think she's going to be happy when she wakes up, but I don't think she'll be able to hurt anyone while she's in there.
Just have anything that she could... Like, she's not... No, you took jewelry off of her.
Anything she could turn into a focus is gone. Unless she gets really creative and finds a way to turn her shirt into a focus or something.
Is that possible?
I don't know. Magic was never my thing.
Does anyone have my bag?
Yeah, and he kind of gives you the stuff that he took from you. You see him still holding the dagger, and he kind of flips it around. He goes, "This is not a normal dagger.
No, it's also a flute.
You bards are weird."
You don't know the half of it.
That bard better have some
have
diamond...
no idea.
That bard better have some diamond dust, or else I can't do what I did before. Again.
Diamond. Do you need some?
I used it to fix your eye, and I don't have any more. I have
Oh.
diamonds.
Well, first off, and she'll show him the wand of magic detection,
Mm-hmm.
and be like, if you want to give her a once over with this, anything magical will light up.
There's nothing left that could be magical.
Okay.
I took everything. I wasn't taking any. Chances.
How much diamond dust do you need to do revivify?
Revivify is...
If you all are in need of magical components that involve precious stones,
that's 300.
we have the wealth of the town.
Well, some of that belongs to the town.
And I'm sure that they would have no problem at least restoring what was spent to save them.
True. Well, I was going to say I have 900 gold pieces worth of diamond dust. I will at least give Ralwyn 300 of that.
Yeah. We can just say any components that had a monetary value, specifically of diamonds or diamond dust, you guys are able to replenish without any difficulty from their
Okay.
stores.
I don't feel sad in saying this. If you have that kind of thing, take it. The healer can help.
So the three vampire lords goes, so, what is supposed to happen now? I mean, we have been freed, but,
Yeah, what is that we is the clear for us to wake up?
I don't know. I'm gonna
The plan
spend.
hasn't changed. We make her remember and care about her brother being gone. You were getting through to her.
Yes, but
Well,
this could take a very long time, and you have other things you need to do. I will spend every day and every night trying to save my sister. But I can't
hopefully.
ask you to stay here. Not when there's other things that need you more desperately.
With her unconscious, the eyes in the sky, are they inoperable, or are they on an automatic?
I don't know how that works in one of the vampire lords. I can deal with that. It is a unique spell, but it is not a complicated one.
Excellent.
Should I, and Vincent pipes up again, might I ask for your indulgence once more? There are still magical traps underneath every house in the city, and I have no skill with magic. Would any of you be willing? He's talking to the vampire lords. I realize you have no reason to help me after what was done to you, but would you be able to help me get rid of them? And they kind of look at each other, trying to figure out what they want to do.
How many servants were taken from the villages? Was just the one girl, or were there others? I know there was one in the A cell. Were there others, or
By
was
the
she the
time
only
you
one?
got here, there was only one little girl that was released shortly after you guys were able to save Vincent. So currently, there's no kids in the manor house.
Oh, there's not now.
Yeah,
Did they go somewhere? Because I want to, because like obviously this sounds
she was released, so she went back to her family.
okay.
It happened in between sessions because
Sure.
I wasn't thinking, but
Well, I think the best thing we can do for Elizabeth is defeat the Dark Lord. There's a chance the Dark Lord captured Booker's soul. If we can free that, we might be able to bring Booker back. And that may help break the spell. Hell, defeating the Dark Lord may help break the spell.
well, do what you can. Suddenly, Sergei Laval, one of the vampire lords, goes, I specialize in war magic, the combat application of magic. I believe I could probably deal with these traps. They're probably not completely different from some of the ones that were utilized in wars generations ago. I appreciate that. If you can bring Booker back, can't hope for things like that.
We'll take what is necessary from what you have to offer. Everything else to go to the town.
Okay.
The rest will be up for us.
After this is all over, the town's probably going to want my head. Which I'm fine with. But I'm not going to let them hurt my sister. It wasn't her fault.
It was not your fault either. I know I know you know the logic, but I also understand that doesn't replace what you're feeling, and the same will go for her eventually.
But someone has to pay for this.
And
And the Dark Lord will pay for this. Your penance right now is just staying here and keeping an eye on your sister. We'll talk to the town folks, have them figure someone to be a leader. At the moment, you can stay here.
All right.
I think the town folks will at least be relieved to be free.
And he kind of comes back. He turns away and then turns back and goes, I don't think I can thank you for what you did. There aren't words enough. But I will spend the rest of my life working to repay you.
Yeah. I owe your brother a lot.
Yeah.
We all do.
Yeah.
Well, it's getting close to midday. I would not recommend having your meal here.
No.
when we get back to the people, we'll discuss that as well. The enemy here is one we can all agree upon, and it's not you two.
Taxes are due in a few months. The tax collectors show up to a completely different town where people are walking around. The Dark Lord's going to know what's going on.
The people understand fear. They'll understand the tax collectors. They'll know to keep out of the way of that at the very least.
Well, I'm just saying, you guys have a time limit.
Yes.
All right, I've got work to do. Lord Laval, let me show you to the nearest house. And he starts leaving.
I will also make sure the vampires know of Lord Merovingian
Mm-hmm.
and where his base camp is. I will also probably use another sending spell to inform him of the 3 freed vampires. We have freed this town, collected another coin, and we'll probably, I think we'll be facing off against the last general soon.
Okay. So you get a response back. Basically, good. We've been working on stuff too. Not safe to say through sending. When we see you next, we'll inform you.
I will pass that along to everybody. Why would sending not be safe?
It's a fantastic
Int-
question.
Interesting.
Scrying for one, I can tell you. Luckily, we didn't give too much. I mean, there's what we did relay briefly, but something seems to be happening with the sheriff. He was acting funny the last few times.
Yeah.
Could be something interesting.
And we didn't know that, but kind of you,
There is also undefined magic running around.
yeah, that's what I mean.
Oh, okay.
Anti-magic.
Yeah.
Oh, well, if you recall, we missed the tax collectors, and we should not have missed them. He said that the tax collectors had come through at one point.
Hmm.
Just something to be aware of. If they're my
Tax
concern is
collect-
they were going to be the final generals.
No, I think I don't know that we know who the fourth general is. Oh, and I will show everybody the coin that I got.
Has Lilliane, have you done psychometry on the coins? I'm curious about if we had handed them out. Maybe we could find out. I mean, I don't know if they were all present at the same time when he was handing coins out.
No, I don't believe I have.
Okay.
You want, I mean, I can. Yeah, I'll do.
Okay. So as you sit there and focus on the coin using your grim psychometry, what'd you get? 47,000.
Can I-
25.
Okay.
I was gonna say I will as she's doing this, I will start playing some
Yeah, I would definitely guidance this.
Okay.
some lo-fi.
Beats of psychometry too.
Yes.
As you focus on the coin in your hand, you what you expect to see, because you've done grim psychometry quite a few different times, basically
Yeah.
what normally happens is you're kind of taken back through the history of the coin or the object, and it focuses specifically on bad things happening by it or because of it. This one, however, as you focus on it, you suddenly everything kind of goes dark. As you kind of look around where you are, there seems to be nothing but chaos everywhere. You can see rolling mountains almost of just chaotic energy, pure arcane brilliance everywhere. There's no land, there's no landmarks, there's nothing. There's just this incredible amount of energy everywhere. And suddenly you start to see bits and pieces of it start to be drawn to each other. And you see a small blue marble begin to form in front of you. And as you look on it, it gets bigger and bigger and bigger. And now it's not a marble. Now it's hundreds of feet tall, thousands, millions. Suddenly it has grown so large that you're standing looking across a vast ocean of nothingness. As more bits of the chaos start to coalesce themselves, you watch as mountains are pushed up through the chaos. And all of this seems overwhelming to you. You're trying to figure out how in the world this has anything to do with the coins themselves, and then you're back.
will have one again. You know, in a moment of loss. I just went through the beginning of everything. Right?
Does that sound familiar to me as like a creation story? Or
The creation of the world, like the creation myth for Mendacia, has kind of changed repeatedly depending on where you're learning it from. In Triregnum, in the Three Kingdoms, it's generally understood that the world was kind of a combination creation of the gods kind of creating rules for the world to work by, and then the mortals actually kind of carving the world, the mortal races actually kind of carving the world into the shape that it is. Sounds nothing like what he just described. Your personal view of the world existing is very kind of active creation. You know, the gods decided to make the world, and then the mortal races decided to kind of build it into the world that is. So it was kind of a joint effort between the mortal races and the gods. What Liliane was describing is a lot kind of more passive. The world just kind of came in. That was the world just kind of coming into existence.
interesting. I'm wondering if that was our world on the mortal plane or this world. I think our understanding of this world is this is like a flat world. This is like some kind of like flat Earth disk thing.
It's square, thank you very much.
Sorry, square.
Discs
I
are for
thought it
nerds.
was human. Every time I had a group, every time I identify anything,
Sorry, I didn't catch that. Can you say it one more time?
I kind of had a group. Every time I identify anything,
I don't think we found any like identifier or anything on them.
And they have symbols and things on them. None of you recognize them though. Like they're not arcane. They're not any language you guys have seen before. They obviously mean something, but
but none of my, none of I will have power. The moment you haven't tried to magically identify them, have you?
I can give identify a try. See if there's any magic on them.
Oh, give it back.
I can only detect. I don't have identify.
We'll use a first level spell slot
okay.
and cast identify.
So you cast it on the object. Normally, the way you expect it to work is you cast it on the object and you just kind of imparted with knowledge of how the object works, any spells. When you do that, you suddenly see symbols in your mind's eye that you can't identify. They look kind of similar to what you see on the coin, and there's just so much of it. You get overflowed and flooding, and I need a wisdom save.
Ugh, that's a natural 1. Total of 8.
After the spell goes off, you watch Vala kind of blink. She looks up, and then her eyes turn completely black, and she passes out. And unfortunately, that is where we're going to end it for today. As always, if you missed any of this, I do upload all these to my YouTube channel. It's youtube.com/TrainerJody. Thank you from the raid. Thank you for the raid from Silverfoot86. We always appreciate new faces around here. Otherwise, again, it's all for me today. I will see you guys next time. All right? Bye-bye.